Hello friends and welcome to Unboxing Ophthalmology. This is the case today, exfoliation syndrome and a small pupil, as you can see, approximately 4 millimeters. So we need to put iris retractors. Let's begin by making the right and the left side port as usual, but notice that the right side port is a bit extended. It is extended because we are going to use it for the iris retractor and the irrigation aspiration handpiece at the same time. Let's proceed the usual way by filling the anterior chamber with enough viscoelastic. The globe should be firm. This will help us making the rest side ports. So don't hesitate to fill the anterior chamber with enough viscoelastic. We proceed as usual, making the main tunnel incision. First we make the tunnel and then we make the rest side ports. We begin with the side port number 1. It is placed somewhere between the main tunnel incision and the left side port. Then the side port number 2, it is approximately between the left side port and the 6 o'clock. Side port number 3 approximately at 6 o'clock or opposite the main tunnel incision, and side port number 4 approximately between number 6 and the 9 o'clock. Now it is time to start putting the retractors. Let's see how it goes. Okay, this is retractor number 1. This is retractor number 2. Retractor number 3 at 6 o'clock. And retractor number 4 . I like to use 6 retractors. So we are going to use the right side port for the retractor number 5. And now with 5 retractors in place, and before placing the last retractor, we will start capturing and stretching the iris margin. Take out some viscoelastic from the anterior chamber by simply putting some pressure in the main tunnel incision. In this phase, in order to capture the iris margin, we need a shallow anterior chamber, and then we need to put some viscoelastic under the iris. In this way, we are going to create a space between the iris and the lens. This viscoelastic under the iris makes the procedure more safe because we can capture the iris margin without touching the anterior capsule. Now it is time to begin capturing the iris margin. When we capture the iris with the first retractor, we stretch the iris margin, but not too much. We stretch as much as it needs, just to be safely in place. We continue with the second retractor in the same fashion. If we stretch the iris too much from the beginning, it will be difficult to place the opposite retractors. During the procedure, keep in mind always not to damage the anterior capsule. Initially, don't stretch the iris margin too much. We are going to stretch the margin after we put the last retractor. As you can see, in order to catch the iris margin, we need to rotate the retractor face down. We can rotate the retractors using the upper round clips. We use the same clips to stabilize the retractors. In order to stabilize the retractor, we push the round clip until it reaches the surface of the sclera. Now, with 5 retractors in place, we will put the 6th retractor from the main tunnel incision. I usually put the sixth retractor at the left end of the main incision, just to have space for the phaco handpiece. This may be a tricky movement. If you find any difficulties, you can put some additional viscoelastic under the iris at 12 o'clock using the right side port, which I remind you it is slightly extended from the beginning of the surgery. Now with the 6 retractors on, we can stretch the iris as much as we like. Nevertheless, no need to stretch the iris too much. This space is enough, even for hard cataracts. If we stretch the iris too much, it will be difficult for the iris to retract again after the surgery. So we've ended up with an hexagonal shaped space through which all the other movements can be done safely. Now, as you can see, we have done the phacoemulsification and the IOL insertion. It is time to remove the retractors. At this point, the anterior chamber is still full with viscoelastic. First, we remove the retractors and then we remove the viscoelastic from the anterior chamber. Why are we doing this? Because without viscoelastic, the anterior chamber will be shallow, and then all the maneuvers are going to be difficult and dangerous. So first we are pulling the round clips to the upper end of the retractors, and then gently the retractor out of the anterior chamber. The maneuver is safe and quick because we have the viscoelastic into the anterior chamber. Sometimes after we disengage the retractor, we need to rotate the retractor a little bit. The whole procedure is quite simple because of the viscoelastic in the anterior chamber. If you lose any viscoelastic, fill it again, the anterior chamber, with visco, so you can make all these movements easy and safe. When all the retractors are out of the eye, then we can proceed with the aspiration mode. So first we remove the retractors and then we remove the viscoelastic, and the case is done. Sometimes, especially when there is exfoliation syndrome, I put an miotic to constrict the iris. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to give us a thumb and subscribe to our channel.